Welcome, everyone. This is a fun little thing that we get to do. I feel like my lives with students are always so structured, and now this can be for anyone. And so I would love to learn a little bit more about you in the chat. Tell me where you're tuning in from. If you're a speaker or an aspiring speaker, maybe you have a 9 to 5 job, and what interests you in courses. Is it something that you are like, I know I want a course, I just don't know where to begin? I want to learn more about courses. Tell me in the chat. We have the GOAT of course creation today. Someone I deeply, deeply admire, Amy Porterfield, is here, and she has a really, really exciting program coming up tomorrow. So without further ado, let me bring my guest onto stage. Hi.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good. I am so glad that we get to do this because every single time that we go live or do something together, I'm like, course creation and like thought leadership are so complementary.
Yes.
So it's been really, really fun. And we have a lot of people in the chat who are already signed up for Course Confident tomorrow. But for anyone who is unfamiliar with you, would you mind just giving a quick background about yourself?
Yes. So I always say I'm an ex-corporate girl turned accidental entrepreneur because I never planned to build my own business. But I worked for Tony Robbins for almost 7 years and I kind of got that entrepreneurial bug. So that was my last 9 to 5 job 16 years ago. And since then, I have been creating courses. But about 10 years ago, I realized everyone wanted to know, how do you create your successful courses and how do you launch them? And it was the question I got every day. And I thought, that's what I really love to talk about. So I started to teach that over the last 10 years. And now I eat, sleep, and breathe digital courses. And I've helped over 25,000 students actually create courses and get them out into the world. So I love what I do. And I love to speak to people that are thought leaders, want to speak on stage, because you're right. It's such a great combination.
And also, I love that your dog just walked by the back of you. I think let's talk about that because I think being able to do this from home is a really big part of the appeal for courses to me. I think so much of my career as a speaker was it and is, trading your time and your physical presence for impact and income. And then when I started Mic Drop Workshop in 2018 and realized that this was something that I could create and could reach people who I was not in the same room with, and that could also set into motion a business that happened while I was sleeping. I don't necessarily call it passive income. I think passive is we could talk about that too. I'm like, no, you still got to work really hard, but but it didn't require me to be physically present in order to make that happen. Tell me a little bit more about like the benefits of having a course versus maybe other forms of thought leadership.
Yes. So you're exactly right. One of the things that I love to do is teach my students how to create their course. Let's say one course. And like the name of your course is, what's it called?
Mic Drop Workshop.
That's what I thought. So Mic Drop Workshop. You created this course, you said back in 2018, and you've been able to launch it over and over and over again. And I am sure the course has gotten better over the years. Your marketing has gotten better over the years. Your messaging, you know who you're talking to. You're solving the exact problem. That's the beauty of digital courses. What slows entrepreneurs and budding entrepreneurs down is always starting from scratch. You have a new offer here. It kind of worked. Now you go to a new offer. Kind of worked. Go to a new. That is what is slowing you down from reaching the wealth that you absolutely can accomplish and deserve. And so if you create one asset and you just get better and better and better at it, now what it does is it frees up your time. You become known for something. Talk about that thought leadership. You've got a course in it and you launch it every year, multiple times. You become known for that. And you're able to get better and better. And that course can make more money, which I've seen with so many of my students.
And one of the reasons someone just brought this up, Sarah Brown, as a mom, there's so much value in being able to stay home and still contribute financially to my family. One of the reasons why we don't partner with many people, but we partner with you every year because not only do I love your product and it's worked for me, I love how outspoken you are about women becoming millionaires and women being the breadwinners in their family. And this is such a real thing. There is so many women leaving the workforce right now because there's not flexibility. And that's something I feel so grateful for right now that I have 2 kids that I can be flexible. Why have you kind of chosen to speak about that?
Yeah.
And you've had like articles and so many things come out about this, and I love it.
I am so passionate about women making money. And here's why. Number one, there's a stat out there saying about only 2% of women will actually make $1 million in their business. 2%. And I believe that women steward money differently. I think our brains are different than men, and we will look at different things and how we should spend money. And I believe we spend money in a way that makes the world a better place. And so if there's more women putting money into the world, I think there's a great trickle effect, a positive trickle effect that comes from that. I also believe that when you have money, I hate it, but it's true. You have an opportunity to have a bigger voice. When I started making money and started making moves, I got invited to more things, bigger stages, bigger opportunities. It's not fair, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is that way.
But it is. Yeah.
Yes, right? And so when the men knew that, wait a second, she's got a big business, she's doing big things.
The people who now return my calls that
Thank you.
ignored me. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
It's not fair, but it is how it is. And so I use that to my advantage. And so I want women to have a bigger voice. I want them to hit those millions. I want them to steward money differently in the world and call the shots. You also have a lot more confidence when you know your bank account is very safe and very healthy. So there's so many benefits. I know it's not all about money, but you can make a bigger impact when you do have it.
Yes, I just want to like cut that into a soundbite and put it on like every newscast ever, because I'm like, it really is. I mean, and that's why we focus on women, not just because of financial opportunity, but because the same way that you're talking about women stewarding money, we think women honestly have a better approach to speaking. They
Yes.
come at it more from a place of service than spotlight. And I'm like, companies run better when women are in leadership. Rooms come together when women are in leadership. There was like this really interesting, and then this will actually lead into your 10% rule that I love. There was this interesting study at MIT around imposter syndrome and how, there's everything that's like, oh, women, need to not have imposter syndrome and just like fake it till you make it, act like a man. And it actually showed that women who had a dose of imposter syndrome were more collaborative. They were more of a lifelong learner, and they actually performed and ranked higher at work. And so I think a lot of us, maybe in the chat, you can tell me if this is you, are thinking, I would love to have a course, but am I the one to do this?
Yes.
Am I an expert enough to do this? You have a rule that I haven't told you this yet, but I'm actually including it in my next book and talking about
I love that,
called
Jess.
the 10% rule.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that is for any of us feeling maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome?
Yes. Okay. So a lot of my students will come to me and say, Amy, I want to have a course. I want more freedom. I want a different stream of revenue. I want this opportunity. But who am I to be creating a course? I'm not an expert of all experts. I don't have a certification in this, or I didn't go to college for this. So I don't know enough, or I don't have enough skill. And that is a lie that we tell ourselves to keep ourselves safe, which keeps ourselves small. And it's funny, if we talk about men, we're not men bashing. Jess and I love men, but there's rarely a man will say, who am I to be doing this? So I try to steal from men sometimes the audacity, and it works really well. So
Totally.
when a woman says this to me, I'll tell her, first of all you need is a 10% edge. And this is what a 10% edge is. You are 10% of those you serve. So you could say, hey, follow me. I know what to do. I've done it for myself. I have the framework. I have the steps. I've made all the mistakes. Let me show you the way. So as long as you've gotten results for yourself or for somebody else, a client, a family member, a friend, and you're willing to lay out those steps and support someone through the process to get the results you got, you have a course in you. So that means everyone listening right now, you are ready to create a course. You already have the knowledge. Now you just need the plan.
There are a few people in here that have some questions around it. Some of them are like, I already have a course, but I haven't like done a full launch.
Yes.
Would Course Confident and Digital Course Academy still help people who maybe have already recorded a course?
Yeah. So many people come into my boot camp and then my bigger course already having a course, but they're not really sure what to do with the course. It's not really doing anything yet. And so Course Confident, my boot camp that starts tomorrow, it will be a little bit, you have to come in with a beginner's mind if you already have a course. And I swear you will learn some things that you're like, ooh, I kind of skipped that step, or I didn't think about that for my course, just to make sure that that course is positioned well and priced well. And then from there, when I work with people on a bigger level, we get into all the marketing, the step-by-step, how to launch it. And the reason for that is a lot of people who already have a course, they don't realize what goes into a well thought out, well strategic, or very strategic launch, where there's steps you've got to take. Putting your course on your website and talking about it on social and maybe a few emails doesn't cut it. So the people that rise to the top with a course, they have a strategy of how they're going to launch it year after year. And that's what I help people do. So if you already have a course and it's not selling yet, or you don't have anything and you're starting from scratch, I'm your girl.
And we already have some super fans in the chat who have already gone through it and say it made launching so much like less intimidating. Okay. Someone did ask, why now? Is there a reason I should buy this class now instead of waiting till next year?
Okay, I love this question. So first of all, digital courses are in a really incredible time. I say it's the new era of digital courses. So with AI on the scene, people might say, well, why would people buy a digital course from me when they could chat GPT their way to any result they want? Well, kind of. So information is everywhere. That's not what we are focusing on in a course. Of course, you're going to put your information in there, your roadmap, how to do it. But what ChatGPT will never be is your accountability partner, your mentor, the person that's going to share the good, bad, and ugly, what worked, what didn't, how to fix it, and is not going to walk alongside you when you start to stumble. With every new thing, we start to stumble. So real quick, I said this earlier, but on a different call we were on, but my son, he wants to run a 4-minute mile. And so he got into ChatGPT and he has his 6-week plan to do so. He already runs. That's so awesome. He's got a 6-week plan. And so by week 3, I'm like, how are you doing? He's like, well, I kind of fallen off. It's a great plan, but like, I got to get up in the morning and do it. That's where a course experience comes into play, where we're walking alongside them, encouraging them and getting them to get to that finish line. That's what people want. And so why now? Well, more than ever, AI is going to water down everything, and you're going to rise to the top to say, I'm here for you. I'm your mentor. I'll not only give you the information, but give you the path to get to the finish line. That's why courses are working so well right now.
It's so true. I have done so many things. Like we're supposed to start potty training tomorrow. And I asked ChatGPT to and trust me, we have tried this many times because I've asked ChatGPT to create the plan. And I'm like, look, it's so easy. All we have to do is just take her pants off and have a potty right here. And I haven't done it because there hasn't been this accountability. I'm like, well, I'll just do diapers today.
Yes.
But also, it reminds me of so much of the variety of the courses that your students do. I remember one of them was how to get your toddler to eat their vegetables, picky eaters.
Yep.
So you might be thinking, oh, my course has to revolutionize the way that we live our life, when really it's just solving problems for people. What are some examples maybe of some courses that have gone through Course Confident or Digital Course Academy that you've really liked the topic or the angle?
Yes, with Course Confident, it's to kickstart your first digital course or your next digital course. And so with that, so many of my students say, that's where I finally nailed down my topic. I finally figured out what I wanted to do with my course and kickstarted the first steps needed to get the momentum. And so they'll often tell me my course idea came from Course Confident. And so I'm be like, well, what are you doing in your course? So there's so many different things. So one, a woman is teaching women how to get through perimenopause. Yes, please. There's a lot going on there. So she has a whole program because she's gone through it. She knows what works, what didn't, and the struggles she had. Another one, like you said, how to get your picky eaters to eat at the kitchen table. Another one, how to sleep train your child or your infant. Another one, leadership skills for women. Another one, this is a really successful one, confidence, how women can get more confidence. A therapist that works one-on-one with her clients, she's my student, she created this course because she saw this huge need of these women coming into her office, very little confidence, and she knew how to get them that. So that's what her course was. It didn't monopolize her one-on-one. It was something like now 2 streams of revenue. Tons of courses on crafts. So how to take scratch paper and turn it into books, needlepoint, knitting, what is it called? painting, but the watercolor
Mhm.
painting. So lots of hobbies, lots of crafts, leadership, and fitness, health, wellness, all across the board. How to get your kids scholarships in college. So I've seen it all.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of us who think like, well, what am I going to do? You have like a dozen, something
Yes.
that feels so natural to you that
Yes.
you almost don't even think. And that's what we talk about when we think about what you want to speak on too. It's like, what could you talk about for an hour unprompted?
Mhm.
Or what's the thing that people come to you for advice on? One really great way to use ChatGPT is if you have an area where you're like holding a bunch of testimonials, maybe from people who have worked with you or read your book or done your coaching services, put it into ChatGPT and say, like, what is the main thing people get from
Ooh,
working with me?
I like that.
And then that could be your course idea as well, or your keynote idea.
Yeah.
So, okay, Jane has the link in the chat. Some people asked around, okay, I just started mic drop workshop. Woo! Have a full plate. Not sure that I'll actually do this even if I buy it now. That's why this is $47
Yeah.
for what is it, Amy? 5 days starting
Yes. Live
tomorrow.
training with me.
Even if you don't continue after that, it is a great way to just get your feet wet with it. And it's going to help you in mic drop. So much about mic drop workshop too is like taking the thing that you now know as a speaker and what you're going to teach and using it as a way to build your platform around that. So I would say join the boot camp. It's really low barrier to entry, low risk, and just it's going to help you in mic drop, and then you can make a decision after that. But speaking of platform building, this is probably the biggest thing that we have in the chat of, okay, love to create a course, but who would I actually sell to
Oh, okay.
if I don't have an email list,
Yes.
haven't built a platform
Love
yet?
this question.
Yeah, can
So
we touch on
most of
that?
the people that come into my world want to create a course. Some of them don't have a topic idea yet. We do that in the boot camp, or they have too many ideas, or they're just uncertain. So topic is a big one. We do that on day 1. But on day 3, we talk about growing your email list. I believe that no matter what you do online, if you market yourself to speak on stage, if you have a course, a membership, a coaching program, you must have an email list. A lot of people will skip this step, rely on social media, and they'll get to a point that social media is not working anymore. So I teach people how to kickstart their email list. And this is something that I do on day 3 about why is this important? How does this fit into you creating a course? And how do you create a course and grow an audience at the same time? You might look at it as, how do I go through mic drop program and grow my email list at the same time? You could use it for that as well. But
Mhm.
I put a very big emphasis on let's grow that audience. Let's stop waiting. Let's stop putting it off. My biggest regret in the 16 years of building this business is I waited 2 years to grow my email list, and I struggled those first 2 years to sell my courses. So it's a huge part of what I do, and I make it very easy to get started.
So someone also asked about in person, and I'm not sure, Amy, if and I think there's so much scalability value to virtual,
Yeah.
but we're seeing at Mic Drop a big n- need and want for like in-person stuff as well, even if that's not the core foundation of your course. So for example, at Mic Drop Workshop, we now have Mic Drop Club, which is our in-person women public speaking
Ooh.
meetups. We actually are you in Nashville? I can't remember. Yeah. Okay. You'll have to come to our Nashville one
Okay.
sometime.
Will you be
Love to have
there?
you. I want to come to I'll be at the Raleigh one and the Chicago one this
Fun.
time, but
Fun.
maybe in
Okay.
December I'll come
Yeah.
to
Keep me
Nashville.
updated.
Yeah. And also for anyone here that wants to join us in club, Jane will drop the link for the meetups next week. We have 33 cities. It's
Yes.
really, it's honestly crazy. We started this in January and we have over 1,500 members all over the world that come together each month. And Lindsay Picardo is here in the chat as well. And she is heads up all of our curriculum and everything. But this has been a great complement to our virtual component, having some in person. I want to go back to the question that Naomi asked. What about in-person courses? I've been running it for several years, but it's not selling. I feel like I
Mhm.
need some coaching to tweak the title. Something feels off.
Okay.
Maybe this is in person, or maybe this is just like, how do you look at something that isn't selling that you created?
Great. I first want to talk about in-person and moving that into a course. So remember I talked about the woman that has, she takes scrap paper and turns it into these beautiful journals and books. She was doing that in-person trainings. And for a while it was working and then it wasn't. One, her hands were starting to hurt. Like she was doing it way too much. It was too physical, but also it's hard to get people in the room. And so what she decided is I'm going to take what I do in these in-person courses, essentially trainings, and turn it into a digital course. The beautiful thing for the person that asked that question, you can do both. There are certain people that want to be there in person. I'm not one of them. I'm not going to show up for an in-person class in Nashville. I'm too much of an introvert. You tell me I can get that online, I'm going to be first in line if it's something I want. So there's two different types of audiences. Even if you do one-on-one work, there's the audience that wants to pay you and can afford you. And there's an audience that can't afford you or doesn't want to do the one-on-one. You could have two streams of revenue for the same type of work. It feels different, of course, but the same type of work. So to answer that question, whether you do in-person trainings or courses, one of the things that you got to think about is if people aren't showing up, one, we're going to look at the messaging. I've noticed this year that my messaging had to change for where the world is today. There's a lot of,
same.
right? A lot of lack of trust, a lot of
Mhm.
concern and overwhelm. So what I said last year doesn't work this year because the world is different. Looking at your messaging, hitting their pain points, that's going to be a big one. Also, if you turn that live into an online course, you have a lot more opportunities to sell through boot camps and webinars and email marketing and social media. That translates into an online course so much easier than to a physical location. So just something to think about. That person that asked that question, I hope you get into the boot camp. Let's explore what that live experience could look like in a course.
I love your honesty. You're like, I will not be there.
I will
I
not be
will
there.
be at home. I know. I tend to be the same way. But every once in a while, and then after I do like show up and
I
well,
know, right?
I feel
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I should
Love
do that
dogs.
more. Yeah, yeah.
My dogs
I
just
know.
ran in here. So, but
Good. I love it.
every time, Jess, I show up live, I'm like, why don't I do this more often?
Why
That
don't
was
I
so
do? We should
fun.
do this everywhere. Yeah, totally. Okay, a couple people asking about like the tech side of courses. Someone asked, what platform do you use? I know we use Kajabi for ours, but do you hit on people who get tech overwhelmed
Yes.
like I do?
It's my whole
Yeah.
audience.
Yes.
Almost
Okay.
everyone I
Yeah.
serve. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
So
and
talk to
I
us
get
about
it.
that.
So I
Yeah.
totally understand that. So the person who asked about the platform, the first thing I want to say is if you don't have a course yet, I don't even want you thinking of the platform. I take baby steps with my students and let's make some core decisions in the boot camp first. You don't need a platform yet, so I don't want you to spend money on it. But when you get there, I love Kajabi. I also love membership.io, which is what I use. So those are the two that I would kind of stay in those two recommendations. But again, if you don't have a course yet, you're not ready to spend that money yet, I'll ease people into it. But those who want to go into the course creation journey with me, any tech I recommend, one, it's for people on a budget. It's either free or very inexpensive. Two, the least amount of tech possible is how I'm going to put my program together. Meaning I do not want you having 10 pieces of technology. It's crazy. And so
Isn't it crazy with like
minimal.
the AI names of things too? It's like
Yes.
plug it to Caboodle and Caboodle will send it to Banana Hammock and Banana Hammock will do it's like the names are out of control.
Out of control for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, one of them is Zapier. So
Yes.
Zapier's a big one. Yeah. So we're going
Zapier
to
is a
keep
big
this
one.
as simple as possible and you do not need Zapier.
Yes, I love that. That is like I think you hit it spot on. There are sometimes when people ask me they want to be a speaker and they're like, "What should my contract say?" I'm like, "Let's do your keynote first, and then let's do the
Exactly.
contract."
Yes.
And that's why courses are so great too, is because again, you go to Google, it's going to give you the kitchen sink of everything. You go to ChatGPT, it's probably going to give you the kitchen sink as well. Courses, whether you're taking one or creating one, are specifically designed to cut to what someone needs right now, not everything that they need.
Yes.
And that was a mistake I made when I started Mic Drop was, and I've told you this before, I thought the value came from like quantity of information instead of quality of information. And so I would just tell them everything I knew about speaking. And they're like, great, but like, what do I do right now? And I'm
Right.
like, oh, okay,
Yes.
let's roll this back.
Yes.
We have a question from Sonia. Does the boot camp help with pricing your first mini
Yes.
course?
So that is day 2. So in day 2, we get into Positioning and pricing. So first of all, what is the promise you're going to make in your course? Well, the way you decide that is first what type of course you want to create. There's 3 different types of courses. I go through all of them on day 2. You're going to make a decision. You'll know instantly once I explain all of them and give you examples. You'll be like, oh, that's the type of course. Once you know the type of course, then there's a price point around that I'll lay out for you. But the most fun part, Sonia, is that once you choose your price, I'm going to take you through what I call course math, and we're going to see what's possible. You'll be amazed how fast you can get to a $10,000 launch with one digital course with a tiny audience. So stay with me there in the bootcamp. Day 2, absolutely, you'll walk away knowing what you want to charge for your course.
Yes. And then someone else asked, took your course, started my email list. It was game changing.
Great.
And so I think no matter, obviously, hopefully you start the course, but I know for us, when we do boot camps for Mic Drop or anything that's just like allowing people to play in a playground for a little bit before going all in, I'm like, even if you just take this and learn how to like speak about yourself more concisely, maybe you learn how to like audit your LinkedIn as a thought leader, that's good enough for me. Like you've delivered that, like that value in the beginning. There's an interesting comment here that I would love to talk about, and hopefully you're okay with it, because I think this is interesting. So it's a $47 entry to a boot camp that's just going to cost us thousands of dollars. Now, I think this is interesting because I used to have this fear when I would create, trainings that were low barrier to entry and then sell Mic Drop or open the door to Mic Drop. But what I ended up learning was, as long as I'm delivering on what they said they're going to get from being here, of course you can offer an opportunity to go further. I think where people get, like, let's just call it the ick from this, is a bait and switch. Say, oh, come here and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about courses or everything, and then you're going to be $1 million speaker. No, in our boot camp, here are the 5 things you're going to walk away with, and you're going to walk away with them. And then you're going to have the opportunity to join Mic Drop after. But that was like a weird internal sales conversation that I had to have with myself earlier on. What's your response to that?
I'm glad someone brought this up. So in the boot camp, what I promise you is you are going to kickstart your digital course. So I'm going to teach you how to choose your topic. If you have too many, how to get it down to 1. If you don't have any, how to choose the 1, and how to start validating it to make sure that people actually will pay for what you want to create. Number 2, I'm going to teach you how to position it and price it and figure out what type of course you want to create, so you know the promise and the transformation you're going to offer. Once you have the price, things start to come together of what might be possible for me. From there, I'm going to help you grow your email list. So I'm going to give you the tools that I use to kickstart my email list and really make sure you know what it takes to kickstart that email list and how to do it while you create a course. And then I'm going to show you the 5-step plan of what goes into creating a course, from creation all the way to marketing, and a rinse and repeat model of what that looks like. I promise you, no matter if you never work with me again, you will walk away with exactly what I said. I am a girl of integrity. I give what I promise, and I will over deliver. I'd hate to say that. I don't want you to know that. I will be over delivering. There will be things you don't expect in the boot camp that you're going to get, that we just don't give it away. If you ever want to work with me and go on your course creation journey with me, I have a bigger program. I will definitely invite you to it. Take it or leave it. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to help you create your course. So the promise I just told you, you will get that and then some, no matter what.
And you can just take this for what it's worth. Kara just posted, I did it last year and I'm doing it again this year.
Good.
How many times does someone sign up for something twice that they didn't think was an amazing opportunity?
It's so true. Who said that? What's the person?
Kara Truitt, and she's also Kara, our Mic Drop Club Charlotte host and TEDx organizer. Absolutely crushing it out there.
Kara, you're a little go-getter. I love it.
She is.
So if you haven't created your course, this is the time. We're doing it now. It's happening.
I have a feeling her course is going to be around getting people on the TED stage. So everyone,
that's a good one. I love how specific that is.
Yes. A couple questions about recordings, and I know there is a bonus around recordings as well. Can you speak to that?
Okay, so if you can't make it live, which many people can't, do your very best because there's magic in the live experiences. But if you can't make it live, we record everything. And you have till September 24th to watch all of my training. So we start tomorrow, the 11th, you have till the 24th. Why do I put a deadline on it? I'm all about action and getting you to implement. So if I can get you to watch these videos, they're each 45 minutes, they go by quickly. I know I can get you into motion to start your course. But if you sit on those recordings forever, it's just never going to happen. We have good intentions, our lives get busy. However, if you join the bootcamp, you'll notice that after you join, there's an opportunity to become a VIP member. I call it a Viper. So if you want to become a Viper, I do 6 live Q&As during the bootcamp. They're a smaller group. And you get those recordings till March. We just gave you 6 months to have them forever. So if you're a Viper, those live Q&As where I answer every question you could possibly ask about creating and launching a course in a small group, because not everyone's a Viper, you're going to get extra recordings and you can hold on to them longer.
Yes. And Lisa asked about dates and times. That's on the homepage.
Yes.
So Jane will drop that again in the chat starting tomorrow.
Great.
There was a couple other logistical questions. Oh, good one from Lindsay. What is the top mistake folks make when taking your course that pauses their progress?
Love
Lindsay,
this question.
I call her my wing woman in business. I knew you were going to judge the chat with some great questions.
Good. I like this. This is a good one. The biggest mistake I see made is new course creators feel like, and Jess mentioned this, you have to throw everything in the kitchen sink into your course because you want to prove you know what you know, and you want to make sure that it is worth the value you're charging. But we tend to undervalue ourselves. So we think if I charge $500, I better tell them everything I've ever learned over the last 10 years. No one wants that. And so Jenna Kutcher is a good friend of mine, and she said that her first course was called the Jenna Kutcher course. Now imagine what was in that. Like, that's a lot. So we don't want the Jenna Kutcher course in our own lives, right? It's just too much. So then she realized, wait a second, if I pare back and if they have one problem and I solve that one problem, I've got them for life because they can trust me and they know I'm going to walk them through this. So the more specific you could get, there's a type, I'll give you all a little hint. In the bootcamp, I'm going to talk about a spotlight course where you take one area of your expertise, like the woman who knows how to get on a TED stage. That's a spotlight course. One area of your expertise and you go deep. That's what people want to pay for. Get me these specific results. So the mistake is adding too much. The golden or the silver lining is that it's easier to create a course that has less in it, so you'll get it done faster. So you can't lose.
We like to call it having an itch and a scratch. It's like, don't create a need out of thin air. Like when you have that like itch between your bra strap that you can't scratch, like that's what you want it to feel like. Every time I say that, I start feeling itchy
I know,
too.
you're like, wait a second.
Yeah. So let's see. Is it possible to build and launch a course before the end of the year? Ooh, let's talk about timeline.
Absolutely. For what I just shared with you, absolutely. Now, I think you should follow a plan. I think everyone here, I think it's whether you work with me or not, find someone who's willing to give you a step-by-step plan, everything from start to finish, and someone who's willing to share with you what they've done and what worked and what didn't to give you those nuances so you don't make the same mistakes. In the bootcamp, we have something called Porter, which is essentially our AI suite of tools, an AI course assistant. Porter is going to allow you to get through the boot camp in my bigger program if you choose to go into that so much faster. So can you create a course by the end of the year? Absolutely. But I'll give you a little hint. I think launching a course in the first 2 weeks of January is one of the best times to launch a course. New you, new energy. You can play off of that. People are ready. So I love that time. I have a girlfriend, though, that thinks the week between Christmas and New Year's is the best time to promote something because she feels like people are online, they're scrolling, they're not at work. So I don't know. I've never tried that one, but I do love the first 2 weeks of January.
Our numbers always show January is the month for us. So I think that's also why this boot camp is so perfectly timed. It gives you the runway to be able to do that. Julie had a question about, like, let's say you have a lot of content, like she has a 9-month course that she's put together, condensing it. And I think a lot of people here are speakers, they're authors, we have a lot of content in this room. So being able to like sift through what's important and kind of put a framework to it, is that something we can expect?
Yes. So in the boot camp, I don't get into the exact framework, but I give a lot of examples where you can start to see how people are putting their courses together. But I'll share with you right now, because in the boot camp, we're going to just kickstart the course. I can't get into everything. But one thing I want you to hear is that if you have, let's say, a 9-month program, to me, that's more of like a group coaching program. A course that takes 9 months, I'm going to say very few people are ever going to get to that finish line. So what I'd love to see you do when I teach you in the bootcamp on day 2 about the types of courses you could create, look at that 9 months and ask yourself, are there multiple courses in there? Is there a phase 1, a phase 2, a phase 3? And can you create just one at a time, get really good at promoting that, and then we'll see if that next phase is what you should do. So there might be a starter course in you where you're just getting them started, or that spotlight course where you go really deep. But that 9-month course, you've already got that 9 months, you've already got that course and probably then some. So I'll help you start looking at how to put it together. So yes, we will touch on that in the boot camp.
And for any of you who are a speaker or you're in Mic Drop Workshop, one of the things Amy and I talked about in our live with Speaker Sisters on Friday was, what if you, at minimum, just created a course that was almost a follow-up to your keynote
Ooh,
and or
yes.
accountability to your keynote, and used it as a negotiation tool for speaking. And so meeting planners love having some like added value. There's sometimes people feel like, oh, you just go on stage for 45 minutes and you leave and then you never talk to anyone again. And yeah, that's honestly a lot of what speaking is. And that's kind of why I love it. Amy and I are introverts.
Yes.
But what if you said, and afterwards they will all get access to this like course that's a follow-up that they can go apply to their teams, that they can go use every day. They would love that. You can either say, I'll include this, for free at this rate. You can do like a per head price. But I've seen that work really well as a negotiation tool for speaking. What else, Amy, have you seen work well for courses that people might not be thinking of?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. I love that question. So yes, you could create a course that is an extension for when you get off stage. What are their next steps? That would be a really great opportunity. In addition to that, you could take what you do on stage and go deeper with that, more of a step-by-step PDF guides, walking them through it on a deeper level. That could also be a course. But there might be something that you put out there that is actually going to grab the attention of enough people that you start getting speaking opportunities. And so there might be a course that comes before what you do on stage. I always talk about it as the invisible bridge. So if you want someone to book you on stage, or if you want someone to, let's say, buy your coaching or your course, there's an invisible bridge of what do they need to know, be aware of, or believe before they're ever ready to buy. I'm going to talk about this on day 3 in the boot camp. How do you create an invisible bridge so when you're ready to sell or you're ready to market yourself to get on stage, you've already walked people across that bridge so they're ready. And so that has a lot to do with list building, but also if your end goal is to get on more stages, that course in the beginning could be your invisible bridge to more stage invites. So there's different ways to look at it.
And someone asked that they have a book coming out next year. So this would also be another great way. I've seen people use courses for book pre-order incentives.
Yeah, let me talk about that real fast.
Oh, yeah, please go for it.
I wrote a book called 2 Weeks Notice in 2023, and I got on the New York Times bestseller. And one of the reasons why that happened is because, thank you, my friend, is because for 3 months leading up to my book being released, I did webinars where I sold a digital course that related to the book. And I said, the course is $300. I created it from scratch. It's $300. But I said, you don't need to pay $300. All you need to do right now is go pre-order my book. Show me that you pre-order my book. You get the course for free. And it worked like gangbusters. And so that was the number one thing that drove pre-sales for my book.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone also asked, and then this will be kind of our wrapping question, and Jane will put the link again in the chat for tomorrow. This kind of goes back to like the qualifications, and I don't have a degree for what my course pertains to. How do you market yourself for your experience rather than your credentials? Because again, I'm sure a lot of us feel that like, okay, who am I to be teaching this? Maybe kind of one more piece of advice for any of us still with that question mark in our head.
Yes. So how do you market yourself? What was the question specifically? How do you market yourself for skill versus credential?
Yep. Let's see. It's how do you market yourself for experience instead
Got
of
it.
educational credentials, which
I'll
is a
tell you
great question. Yeah.
exactly how. You become a storyteller. And as you tell stories through your marketing, your email, your social media, when you're maybe you have a podcast or video, the stories you tell of the obstacles you've overcome, the experiences you had to get to the results that you wanted, that is how you market yourself. You do not need to worry. No one's asking how many years were you in college to study this in order to learn when they hear your own experience that's real and raw. So be open, be honest, tell your stories. And I'm not a natural storyteller, so it's something that I have to work on again and again. But ChatGPT makes it really easy to, I speak into ChatGPT. This is the story I want to tell. It knows how I write, and it can give me a beautiful story in my voice that helped me write it because I'm not a great writer. So these are some things you can do. Lean on your stories and know that I don't care how many years of experience. If you got results for yourself, you can teach someone else to get those results as well.
Oh, I love it. And it reminds me of, let's just take James Clear, for example. He's been on the New York Times bestseller list for Atomic Habits for like 20
Right.
years now.
Yes.
And he doesn't do his own research. He's not someone who is like credentialed in like habit things,
Yeah.
but he is a gatherer of information of people that are.
Yeah.
And so when you think about speaking or you think about courses, like you don't have to go out there and like count, how many people are insecure at work. This is also a great use for AI for like having
Yes.
researchers come in. You are there to share your own stories and then gather the research that's already been done.
Yeah.
And so no one's asked me for my credentials or where I graduated from or what my GPA was, which was not very good. So, like Amy said, it's more about your story and then use all the information that is already out there to support
Yes.
it.
Absolutely.
Amy, okay, we're running up on time. Last like kind of of advice for anyone that's teetering on the fence of joining Course Confident tomorrow or wondering if it's for them.
So I created Course Confident, not just to help you kickstart your course, which it will do, but also help you get off that fence. Should I create a course? Is a course right for me? Is this a move I should make or maybe something else? Let's not keep wondering and let's make a decision. Because for $47, if you decide, you know what, now that Amy's explained it all, a course isn't right for me, I just saved you thousands of dollars and hours of you trying to figure it out on your own, wasting time. Let's make some decisions. I'm an action taker. Action creates clarity. If you know you want to create a course but have no idea where to start, I am your girl and I will walk you through step by step. I'm excited to get started tomorrow. It's going to be so much fun. We have prizes. We have great engagement. We have a great community. I'd love for you just to take the leap and say, heck, I'm just going to give this a try. I'm going to trust Jess that she knows who Amy is because I'll take great care of you.
Yes, $47 for clarity.
Yes.
I will take it.
Me
Amy,
too.
thank you so much. Everyone who joined in, thank you. And if you join Course Confident tomorrow and you're in Mic Drop or you're in this community, what did we say? It was hashtag Speaker Sister in there?
Yes.
With the hashtag Speaker Sister so you guys can find each other.
Wonderful.
Thanks, everyone.